Hey everybody, John Felt here, and this is the Blue Water Outlook Weekly Weather Briefing for the 15th of October 2023. I think one of the things I'm going to be talking about in today's briefing is how we're continuing this amplified flow that's set up over summer, and it's still impacting our temperatures going into fall. So let's get started in today's briefing. Well, first of all, I sort of want to point out this is for Des Moines, Iowa, that we are in that time of year here that those temperatures are beginning to drop a lot quicker. Des Moines, for example, right in the middle of the country, was 71 towards the first of the month for the average high and 57 by the end of the month. So it's going very, very quickly, temperatures dropping. Another sign of fall is the first occurrence of 32 degrees, and the green is indicating where we've had that first occurrence in the most recently. This was the first part of October. And of course, leaves are turning. Anything in red, shades orange and red are near peak. Darker red is past peak. So we're sort of getting past peak up in New England in the northern tier of the U.S., but it's spreading south. And it's sort of a disappointing season in many areas because of the drought, especially in the Midwest and the West. Because of the drought conditions, it's not all that impressive this year. And finally, one more sign of the middle part of fall or the core fall is these atmospheric energetics. We get more energy. And look at this area of low pressure. This passed through this weekend, this front. We have northerly winds behind it, high pressure pushing in, and large areas of dry air, stable dry air. And that's why fall can be pretty quiet. Now, as far as rain goes, last week, a summary, we did have a couple areas of very heavy rain. We had the Pacific Northwest had an onshore flow and some heavy rain with a Pacific storm. The middle part of the nation also, Missouri River Basin, right in here, upper Mississippi, right in here, received some rain. And the southeast and the northern part of Florida, we had an area of low pressure move across northern Florida, and that produced some heavy rain. Anything in yellow is 2 inches or more of rain. So taking a look at stream flow, despite that heavy rain, I certainly see a lot more green, which is normal stream flow, or red dots, which is below normal. And you know, we've been dealing with those low flows on the Mississippi, so did any of that rain, this rain up here, did that have much of an impact? Well, here's the upper Mississippi at Burlington. I don't see much change there. Here is Evansville coming in from the Ohio. That's been quiet. So we get downstream at Memphis and Vicksburg, it is still running really low flows. And that's one of the things that I've been saying is just from a climatological standpoint, I wouldn't expect much improvement most likely until winter months and we change our precipitation climatology. Okay, a quick look at the tropics. Well, we should be quieting things down. And I put out something last week. I showed you that because the sea surface temperatures are warmer, that it could be extending the season. I'll probably put an update out on that this week. But you can see here, Sean, tropical depression, that's not expected to do much. This tropical wave could develop. Chances are good that it is going to develop in the main development region, but over the next week, it's not expected to impact the U.S. Now, temperatures last week, we had this divide here in the eastern U.S., the green below normal, western U.S. above normal. And what we're going to have is we're going to continue a divide, a pretty abrupt divide in temperature. And that's because of this amplified flow. The jet stream, look at this, we have this big heat dome in Canada, and it sort of goes like this. And if we get by the end of the week, what do we have? Well, we still have that. Here you go. And if you happen to be in this region here under that high, most likely you're going to have downward motion and compression and warmer than normal temperatures. If you're in this area here under the low, you could get some precipitation, a little bit more cloudiness perhaps, and temperatures are going to be cooler than normal. Okay, so we can see that here as far as the temperature in 5-day chunks. First 5 days, you can see that divide. Western U.S. above normal. Second 5 days, not a whole lot of change, maybe not quite as cool. And this is, I see some discrepancies in the model in this third 5 days, but I think the takeaway here is warmer than normal in the West for a while. So as far as rain goes this week, it looks like a very quiet week, and that's what we would expect in the middle of October across the nation. Under that low pressure, we could get some shower activity, maybe enhanced in the higher elevations of the Appalachians. But overall, pretty quiet week. And one of the things I always look for weather hazards, and I don't see too many this week. It looks pretty quiet. And finally, to wrap up the briefing, here's the extended. The next 2 weeks, I see a lot more red and orange, which is above normal temperatures, than I see any blues. So it looks like we could be going the next 10 days. Most areas of the country, with the exception of perhaps the east, it looks like it's going to be above normal. And here's our precipitation. Lots of brown, at least for the next 10 days. Looks like a pretty quiet pattern. So like I started the forecast, fall can be a quiet time of the year. The harvest season, that looks like what we're going to get, at least for the next week or two. Hope you have a great week. Take care.